Lesson 1. The power of silence. Speak less, control more. Silence is not weakness. It's strategy. In a world where men destroy themselves by speaking too much, the one who learns to stay silent becomes untouchable. Machiavelli wrote that a wise man does at once what a fool does finally. The fool reacts, defends, and explains. The wise man remains quiet, watching the storm reveal who is weak enough to speak first. The power of silence is not about muteness, it's about restraint. Every word you release carries your power away. Each explanation, every attempt to be understood, makes you smaller in the eyes of others. When a man controls his tongue, he becomes unpredictable. Mystery builds. Respect forms. People project their own meaning onto your silence, and that illusion grants you authority. Machiavelli understood this deeply. In The Prince, he warned that words reveal intention, and intention exposes vulnerability. To rule, you must become unreadable. In conversation, silence disarms the talker. They begin to overexpose, to fill the silence with truths they didn't mean to share. You gain information while giving none. This is dominance without aggression, influence through patience. When a man speaks too often, he chases validation. He seeks to be heard, to be liked, to prove something. But a Machiavellian man knows that approval is a chain. The moment you seek it, you give others the power to withhold it. Silence is how you break that chain. You no longer need to explain yourself to be understood. Your presence speaks for you. To master silence, start small. In arguments, say less. When accused, say nothing. When praised, nod once. Every reaction is an opportunity to show control. You must become the man who doesn't need to be right in every conversation. Only in the end. Silence turns your presence into pressure. Others feel the weight of what you're not saying. And in time, they respect what they cannot read. Lesson 2. The power of silence. The discipline of not reacting. The second layer of silence is emotional control. It's not just about what you say, it's about what you don't reveal. Most men lose their battles not because they are weak, but because they react too soon. They let their anger, fear, or ego speak for them. Machiavelli would call this a failure of statecraft within the self. You cannot rule others until you first rule your own impulses. Every reaction is a leak of power. Someone insults you, you defend. Someone ignores you, you chase. Someone tempts you, you indulge. But in every case, your opponent didn't win. You handed them victory by showing them how to move you. The one who can be moved easily cannot be respected. The world respects control, not chaos. So practice this. Next time someone tests you, pause. Don't defend, don't attack, don't rush. Let silence make them wonder what you're thinking. Let them drown in their own nervous energy. This pause, this delay, is where you regain control. Because while they burn emotional fuel trying to guess your reaction, you remain cold, calculating, and composed. This level of silence creates power far beyond words. It's the quiet that leaders use before speaking, the space that builds anticipation, fear, and respect. When you speak less, your words become rare currency. When you finally decide to speak, it carries the weight of authority. Machiavelli taught that power is perception. The man who appears calm under pressure, unreadable in chaos, becomes a pillar others look to. That's the essence of silent power. It's not passive, it's a weapon. Learn to use it. Because in every confrontation, the loudest man loses. The one who speaks last wins. Lesson 3. The power of chaos. You were not born to find peace. You were born to command it. The weak chase serenity as if it's a prize. The strong understand it's a byproduct of control. Chaos is the natural order of the world. It's in politics, in love, in war, and within the mind of every man who has not yet bent himself to discipline. Machiavelli did not warn princes about chaos. He trained them to use it. Because those who fear the storm are devoured by it, and those who learn its rhythm become the ones who steer it. You must not despise chaos. You must court it. Let it test your patience, tear your routines apart, and tempt you into reaction. Every uncontrolled impulse, anger, lust, jealousy, is a wave testing the strength of your foundation. The man who cannot rule himself cannot rule anything. But the man who stays still while the world burns gains something rarer than gold: clarity. When chaos strikes, your first task is not to fix the world, but to fix your breathing. One breath, then another. Command your body, and you command your reactions. When the mob screams, you whisper. When desire burns, you observe. You do not fight fire with fire. You freeze it with composure. The Machiavellian man lets others reveal their nature while he conceals his. Chaos exposes fools. It cannot touch those who have learned patience. The reason most men fall is not that chaos overwhelms them. It's that they crave it. They confuse stimulation with purpose. They want noise because silence terrifies them. But silence is where control is forged. Withdraw into it until your thoughts become sharp weapons instead of wandering soldiers. Learn to act when others panic. The battlefield does not reward those who react first. It rewards those who strike last and precisely. There will come a day when everything collapses around you. Your plans, your relationships, your pride. In that moment, remember this. Machiavelli's prince survived not by avoiding disorder, but by learning to move through it unseen. Chaos is a storm, but storms clear the air. They destroy the weak and purify the strong. You will not be spared from it, but you can learn to thrive in it. So do not fear losing control. Fear losing the ability to adapt. Make chaos your ally. Feed on it. When it arrives, stand taller. When it tempts you to act without thought, pause. When others cry for order, you create opportunity. Because in every collapse, there is a vacuum, and power always rushes to fill the void. Lesson 4. The power of money. Gold is not evil. It is neutral, a mirror reflecting the mind of the one who holds it. The greedy are enslaved by it. The wise command it. Machiavelli taught that fortune favors those who understand appearance, timing, and control, and money is the purest form of all three. It is not the end, but the instrument. Men destroy themselves when they mistake wealth for power. Real power is the ability to make money serve purpose. Money tests men more than poverty ever will. The poor dream of riches, but the rich dream of safety. Both are trapped. The only escape is detachment. To master money, you must no longer need it to feel whole. Let it orbit you like a planet around its sun. You are the gravity. It moves because of you. A man who chases gold becomes its servant. A man who draws it through strategy becomes its king. Control your impulses. Do not spend to prove worth. Do not show wealth to attract attention. Money loves silence. It multiplies in the shadows while fools brag in the light. Save when you can, invest when you must, and spend only to strengthen your position. Machiavelli's prince did not display his riches. He used them to maintain loyalty, fund influence, and shape perception. Your wealth is a weapon, not a trophy. There will be times when temptation whispers, indulgence, luxury, desire disguised as reward. That is the same voice that ruins empires. The wise resist because they see beyond the moment. Remember this. The man who can delay gratification owns his future. The one who cannot will always serve another's design. Wealth without discipline is sand in open hands. It slips away faster the harder you try to hold it. But understand, money alone does not command respect. It amplifies the man you already are. If you are weak, it exposes you. If you are wise, it extends your reach. Learn to move unseen in financial matters, to calculate without emotion, and to act only when the time is ripe. Fortune bends to the patient, not the impulsive. Your goal is not riches. Your goal is autonomy, the ability to choose your own path without kneeling to another man's will. When your actions are no longer dictated by necessity, when you can afford silence, distance, and restraint, that is when you've mastered the power of money. Do not pray for wealth. Build the mind that attracts it. Every decision, every restraint, every small act of control carves the shape of the empire you will one day command. Gold follows order. Order begins with you. Lesson 5. The Power of the Mind, Part 1. The greatest battlefield is not the world outside you. It is the one inside your skull. Every empire that has ever fallen first collapsed in the mind of its ruler. Every man destroyed himself long before the blade reached his throat. The mind is your throne, your prison, your fortress, and your most dangerous enemy. Machiavelli understood this. He knew that power begins not in armies or gold, but in thought, controlled, sharpened, and unyielding thought. You cannot rule what you cannot command, and most men cannot command a single thought. They are dragged through life by emotion, by distraction, by their own hunger for validation. They do not think, they react. They do not decide, they drift. To master the mind is to end this drift forever. It is to wake up one day and realize you no longer serve your feelings, they serve you. Start by treating your mind as a kingdom under siege. Every day, enemies storm its gates. Fear, lust, doubt, comfort. They whisper that you've done enough, that you deserve rest, that someone else will handle the hard parts. The Machiavellian mind recognizes these whispers as treason. It burns them without hesitation. Discipline is not about force, it is about clarity. The man who thinks clearly does not need to rely on motivation. Machiavelli's prince was never at the mercy of emotion. He could appear passionate, but remain cold beneath it. You must do the same. When you feel anger, use it to reveal weakness in others. When you feel desire, redirect it into strategy. When you feel fear, turn it into calculation. Every emotion is a resource if you have the will to shape it. That is mental alchemy, the transformation of impulse into intelligence. But beware, mastery of the mind does not mean peace. It means control under pressure. The prince cannot afford comfort. He cannot afford illusions. Most people lie to themselves to feel safe. You must lie to yourself only to become stronger. Tell yourself that pain is purpose. Tell yourself that failure is refinement. Tell yourself that nothing is finished until you say it is. Reality bends to those who refuse to accept it as fixed. In your solitude, you must forge stillness. The man who cannot sit in silence is not yet his own master. When the world demands a reaction, give it patience. When chaos erupts, stand in it until your heartbeat slows. The ability to remain unshaken is more powerful than any weapon. Machiavelli wrote that men are easily deceived by appearances. Your calmness will become your disguise, your composure your armor. The first victory of the mind is over itself. Once you command your thoughts, you can command the world. Do not seek peace, seek precision. Do not seek happiness, seek clarity. A sharp mind may suffer, but it never falls. The man who controls his mind can lose everything and still rebuild, because his empire exists within. Lesson 6. The Power of the Mind, Part 2. You have trained your thoughts to obey. Now you must train them to attack. Control is not enough. You must weaponize it. The world does not reward passive intelligence. It rewards strategic intelligence. Machiavelli's mind was never still. It calculated constantly. Timing, alliances, the smallest details that revealed the largest truths. You must learn to think not as a victim of events, but as their architect. To weaponize the mind, begin with perception. Every man sees, but few observe. Observation is the first strike of power. Watch how people move, how they speak, how they justify their flaws. Most reveal themselves without realizing it. Machiavelli called this the study of human nature. When you know what drives others, you control them, because people act according to predictable needs. Pride, comfort, security, lust. Feed or deny these, and you shape their actions. The next weapon is focus. In a world that worships distraction, attention is your sword. Guard it. Every moment you waste scrolling, comparing, explaining yourself, you are being drained of strength. Focus is the rarest currency now. The one who owns it rules. To focus deeply is to separate yourself from the herd. Most men are too addicted to noise to ever see their own potential. But you, if you master silence, you become the one they follow without knowing why. Remember, the mind cannot be powerful if it is polluted. Purge it. Choose what enters it as carefully as a king guards his castle. Do not let the words of fools corrupt your belief in your own inevitability. Surround yourself with difficulty. Let discomfort sharpen you. When others escape pain, study it. Pain is data. It reveals what still controls you. But the ultimate test of a Machiavellian mind is adaptability. The rigid man breaks. The fluid man survives. Intelligence is not about knowing. It's about bending. When fortune changes, you adjust before anyone else sees the shift. You learn to disguise weakness until it becomes strength, to turn setbacks into silence until you strike again. The greatest strategist never plays one move ahead. He becomes the game itself. And yet, even as your power grows, remember restraint. The uncontrolled mind consumes itself. Knowledge can become arrogance. Control can become obsession. You must remain detached enough to see your own mind from a distance, to govern it as a prince governs his city, with order, fear, and balance. Too much leniency, and the people rebel. Too much tyranny, and they collapse. The mind you build is your empire. Every thought a soldier, every decision a law. Command them ruthlessly. If a thought weakens you, exile it. If a belief limits you, destroy it. Build a kingdom so disciplined that even your demons obey. Because when the war within ends in your favor, no external force can conquer you. That is the ultimate Machiavellian truth. He who commands his mind commands everything else. Lesson 7. The Power of the Mouth, Part 1. Words are the quietest form of violence. They can crown kings, start wars, or destroy reputations without drawing a sword. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He saw that a ruler's strength does not come from how loud he speaks, but from how precisely he does. The tongue, once disciplined, becomes the purest expression of control. It is through speech that a man reveals whether he commands his emotions or is commanded by them. The weak man talks to be understood. The powerful man talks to be obeyed. When you speak, you either reinforce your influence or erode it. Every word either adds to your myth or chips away at it. Machiavelli observed that men often destroy themselves not through what they do, but through what they say. They rush to explain, to justify, to fill silence with noise. And in doing so, they reveal the weakness of needing to be understood. Restraint is the first mark of verbal power. When you stop explaining, you start commanding. Silence breeds tension, and tension breeds respect. The less you say, the more others fill the gap with imagination. They begin to assume you know more than you do, that you're planning something greater than you are. This illusion is one of the most effective psychological weapons a man can use. Silence is not absence, it is control. When you do speak, do so with precision. Each word should be chosen as carefully as a general places his troops. Speak slowly. Never rush to answer. Make others wait for your thoughts, and they will begin to value them more. The man who pauses before speaking signals two things: power and confidence. Power, because he is in no hurry to please. Confidence, because he knows that silence never threatens him. Your voice should reflect the stability of your mind. Calm tone, measured rhythm, unwavering pace. These create the impression of a man who has mastered himself. You should never raise your voice, for shouting exposes the insecurity of needing to be heard. Instead, speak so that others instinctively lower their volume to match yours. That's psychological dominance without a single command. Machiavelli once said that men should be either caressed or destroyed. Apply this to language. When you speak, either charm or cut. Mediocrity in speech is weakness. If your words do not strengthen your position, they are better left unsaid. The Machiavellian man never argues, he redefines. He never defends, he reframes. The difference between manipulation and leadership is only in how well you control perception. Speech is not just communication, it's construction. Every conversation you have builds a version of you in someone's mind. Guard that version fiercely. Don't let others decide it for you. When you talk carelessly, you surrender authorship of your reputation. When you speak deliberately, you write your legend in real time. The power of the mouth begins with discipline but matures into artistry. Once you learn to control your voice, your timing, and your tone, you can start to shape emotion itself. You'll find that persuasion isn't about the words, it's about the rhythm between them. The pauses, the calm certainty, the emotional restraint. They form a cadence that others cannot resist. The true Machiavellian doesn't try to convince. He makes belief feel natural. He doesn't argue for truth. He manufactures it through confidence. The most effective manipulation doesn't sound like manipulation. It sounds like common sense. Your mouth is the throne of your image. Guard it like a weapon, polish it like a blade, and wield it like a king. For those who can control their words can command the world. Lesson 8. The Power of the Mouth, Part 2. Once you've disciplined your speech, you must learn to use it as a tool of influence. The Machiavellian doesn't just speak to be heard. He speaks to shape thought. He doesn't argue for ideas. He implants them. He doesn't persuade. He orchestrates belief. Every conversation becomes a chessboard, and each word a move designed to provoke a specific reaction. Machiavelli understood that human beings crave illusions. They want to feel smart, respected, and chosen. A man who knows how to feed these hungers can control anyone. Tell people what flatters them, and they will believe you. Speak their dreams back to them, and they will mistake you for truth. Power comes not from having knowledge, but from making others think your knowledge validates theirs. When you master this, speech becomes sorcery. You can disarm an enemy with a compliment, redirect a threat with empathy, or dismantle opposition with calm logic that makes them feel foolish for disagreeing. But be careful. Too much cleverness becomes deceit. The art lies in subtlety. Let your words be honest enough to be trusted, yet strategic enough to serve your purpose. The greatest mistake is to think that truth and manipulation are opposites. The Machiavellian knows they are partners. Truth alone is powerless. It can be ignored. Lies alone are unstable. They collapse. But a truth framed strategically can control both hearts and minds. Learn to wrap truth in narrative. People don't follow facts. They follow stories that make them feel secure. Use silence as punctuation. After a strong statement, let the pause breathe. People will rush to fill it, often revealing their fears or giving you leverage. A well-timed silence can strike harder than 1,000 words. The audience begins to project meaning onto your restraint. They start convincing themselves. That's the essence of invisible power, control without command. Never use words to defend yourself. Defenders lose power, creators define it. Frame every attack as beneath you. When accused, remain composed. The less you react, the more control you gain. Your stillness forces others to question their own certainty. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." The same is true with words. Better to be respected for your restraint than liked for your openness. When you reach this level of mastery, you'll notice how quiet confidence unsettles people. They can't read you. They can't provoke you. They can't trap you into reaction. You become untouchable, not because you dominate others, but because you no longer need to. The power of the mouth is the final stage of Machiavellian mastery. Through it, thought becomes influence and influence becomes control. A ruler's army may fade, his gold may vanish, but his words will echo long after his reign. When a man speaks with restraint, confidence, and precision, his silence alone becomes a command. You began this journey learning how to master your body, your mind, your emotions, but now you've reached the summit. The power to speak is the power to create reality. That's what Machiavelli knew. The world is ruled not by truth, but by those who sound most certain of it. So speak less, mean more, and let your words, few as they may be, carry the weight of your silence.